Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a chit-chatty video and I'm going to talk to you guys about my spring fragrance rotation, talk to you guys about the fragrances I've been wearing the most and why. Now the reason why this is going to be a discussion is this was initially going to be a list video, but I found myself really chatting about fragrances in the video, and I decided that instead of it being a list video that I would have to crazy edit and it would just make no sense and not be very cohesive or even less cohesive than how I normally edit my videos, I thought to myself, why not just sit down and talk? This is why I have a YouTube channel, to talk about fragrances with you guys. So I'm going to share with you, I'm looking down on the ground at all of my fragrances. I have them in little piles. And I'm going to talk to you guys about my summer, not my summer, but a little bit about my summer, but mostly my spring fragrances, the ones I've been wearing and why. So this will probably be a very long, chatty video. So if you don't like these videos, there is a downvote button. Have fun. And if you do like these videos, grab a snack, grab a drink, let's go. Now I'm going to list all the fragrances below. If you do not want to sit through a long video and you just want to know what fragrances I've been wearing, definitely check them out. If I have reviews of any of those fragrances, link them below and the like. So springtime, let's first talk about my environment because that's going to make a huge difference on the type of fragrances I wear. It really has a huge bearing on what I choose and why. So I live in Florida, and I initially lived in South Florida, which you guys didn't know was like hot soup weather. As soon as it became March, you would walk outside and it was like you were walking through like Campbell's chicken soup. It just was sticky and muggy and humid and gross. We really were lucky if we got even 3 weeks of winter, and we were lucky if 2 of those weeks were consecutive. So most of the time our environment was like 80s to 90s with ridiculously high humidity, and if it got into the 70s and 60s, we were so excited. And you can always check, you can always tell who is a local Floridian, because as soon as it hit 75, we're all outside in our sweaters and our caps and our gloves, and everyone else is looking at us like, what is wrong with you guys? So when I moved up to Central Florida, which is where I live now, I was really excited to have a little bit more of seasons. We do have a fall, we do have a winter, but we don't really much have a spring. A spring kind of just reminds me of summer. It's been like in the 90s, it's been horrible. But in fall it got to the 50s, and in winter it got to the 20s, which is really, really nice. In fact, one of the days I was driving back from the hospital when my mom was in the hospital, I remember seeing icicles on grass, and I cannot tell you how much that tickled me because I have never. The last time I ever saw icicles was when it was like 20 degrees down in South Florida and palm trees were freezing, and that was just, again, just, a novelty. But now that I live in an area where I can enjoy more winter and fall fragrances, I find myself kind of going back to old favorites for some, and then new favorites that are being added for springtime and summer scents. Now my springtime rotation, I do have an Instagram where I post my scent of the day. I am going to be a lot more active on it by doing like kind of quick written reviews. If you want to check it out, I have a link below. But those are only the fragrances that I usually wear in the middle of the day. I have a fragrance I wear when I wake up. Middle of the day is usually what I post as my scent of the day, and then I do wear a fragrance to bed. So you probably haven't seen these glittered on my Instagram, and to be perfectly honest, I haven't been super on top of posting. I'm planning on getting a little photography set up and getting a little bit better with my pictures rather than just taking a photo on the floor with whatever piece of paper I have lying around. So I do have these fragrances that I've been wearing and loving. These are fragrances that would be good for summer. So if you're watching this video and you're looking for summer fragrances, these would be good too. But these are the fragrances that I've been enjoying for springtime, and I want to talk about them. So again, long video, guys. Introduction is almost 4 minutes long. So the first one we're going to talk about is my signature fragrance, and that's Eau de Vert from Bulgari. Now, I've talked about my love for green tea or tea fragrances, and I've been talking about for like 2 years doing a rose video and a tea video. And every time I get ready to do it, I get some more information, do some more research, or a new fragrance comes to mind that I want to add to that. To talk about the tea video, I'm going to be talking about specific teas, kind of giving you a history on tea. and also talking about how characteristically they taste and smell, and proper fragrances and perfumers and noses who translate that beautifully to fragrances, where it's not just a tea note in a fragrance, it's a distinctive tea note. And that has been a passion project of mine I've been working on, and I am very, very mindful of it. I want to do it justice. I know a lot of people do tea videos, but I want this to be more education. And if you're wondering, I used to work for Teavana. I worked for them ground floor. I worked for them on and off for like 6 years. I was a manager. I opened stores. I have a lot of history and knowledge and education behind tea, and how teas are developed, how they smell, different parts of the world, what environment affects the way they taste, and things like that. Believe it or not, like Teavana, before they were bought by Starbucks, and if you guys want me to rant unnecessarily about topics you guys do not care about, I can talk for hours about Teavana and Starbucks. I'm not going to, but we actually were given real education back when it was ground floor, before they sold to Starbucks. So I've wanted to take this passion and knowledge I have for tea, and I do love tea, and share it with my biggest passion, which is fragrance. So I've been working on it. So to get into Beauty Meow, I'm going to give you guys my two of my other favorite tea fragrances, which is Elizabeth Arden Green Tea. I am a collector of those fragrances. I love all the flankers. I have them all. I think I'm missing like 2. And another amazing tea fragrance, which is from by Kilian, and it is Imperial Tea. Now the special thing with Imperial Tea is that there's oak moss in that fragrance, and to my nose, it mimics the tannins when you overbrew tea, that bitterness. And what I really like is that you can smell that. And when I drink jasmine green tea, that is one of the teas that I like to be slightly overbrewed, just a little bit, just by like 5 seconds. And that little bit of oak moss in there adds that touch of green bitterness that mimics the slight taste of tannic acid. And I love that fragrance because it's just, to me, a perfect jasmine tea fragrance. Like, it's so good. It's a little bit more artisanal, it's a little bit more luxurious, it's a little bit harder to wear because of the bitterness. So then you have the easiest fragrance to wear tea-wise is Elizabeth Arden Green Tea. And this fragrance does have complexity, it does have layers, it does have nuances, but not to the same level of Imperial Tea. So it's more of a dumb grab, it's easier to wear. So when I started wearing Beauty Meow, I had smelled it, I think in passing, or I had sprayed it when I was at a store, and I immediately loved it because it reminded me of a blend of just this beautiful green tea, and something about it was slightly in the background bitter. Now I hadn't smelled Imperial Tea at the time. I've been wearing this way too long for that. But I think that's also what made me appreciate Imperial Tea more, was Beauty Meow. It was kind of like, you know, a nice balance or transition from one to the other. This beautiful, easy to wear, effervescent fragrance to something that was a little bit more luxurious, a little bit more thought out in regards to the composition of the fragrance. It's not that Elizabeth Arden wasn't thought out and wasn't artistically done. This just felt like a step up, like an elevated version of green tea from Elizabeth Arden, and I loved it. I love it. I love the freshness of it. I love its zesty, sparkly opening, and I love how fresh and sexy it smells on the skin. And so that is why this is what I usually wear. I wear this at least 4 times a week. I wear this a lot, sometimes just 1 spritz. I layer this with a lot of different things. I love to layer with Limon Verde from Guerlain's Aqua Allegoria line. It just smells amazing. But because of the car accident with my mom, I've been going to a lot of doctor's visits. I had to go to the hospital, lived at the hospital for 2 months. I was really only home for like a few days when my mom was in the hospital. So when I did wear fragrances, I had to wear very easy to wear, understandable scents. And most days I didn't wear anything, but on days where I knew I could wear something, I would wear a spritz of this. And it just smells so bright and vivacious and just so fresh and beautiful. And since springtime where I live is like 80 degrees, it's something that really works too. So this has been one of my most worn fragrances in my collection ever. But for springtime, I've been wearing this a lot because it's really easy to understand. It's a crowd pleaser. It's not a challenging scent, but it does have a little bit of extra just sparkle to it, which works really well in spring. This next fragrance is a fragrance that I enjoy wearing so much. It's got a lot of beauty to it, and it's definitely one of the more popular from the house, and it's from January Scent Project, and it's Salutations. Now, what I like about this fragrance is I love woody aromatic scents, and I like when there is a unique spin or take on woody aromatics, and Salutations is gorgeous. It's very aromatic. It's got some beautiful tobacco notes in there, which I really enjoy, woods, some gorgeous greens, but it's milky. It's a lactonic woody aromatic fragrance, and you don't see that very often. So with lactonic scents, they can be creamy, they can be gourmand-ish, but if paired with the right notes, it's this beautiful balance of cream and sour. Now, when I say sour, I'm not talking about sour milk. That is not what I'm talking about. You have some Immortal in here, you have petitgrain, you've got this milk note, sandalwood, tobacco. These are all very distinct notes. And this creaminess kind of adds this beautiful aromatic sourness to it without it being bitter. And it just smells quite beautiful on the skin, like quite literally gorgeous on the skin. It's like you're slathering yourself with some beautiful just tree. And I don't know how you would slather yourself with a tree, but if you would, it would smell like this. It kind of smells like the sap. Like, not the sap like the resinous sap, but have you ever seen a sap of a tree that was kind of white? Like, what would that smell like? That's what this smells like. And that smells so good on the skin. It's so complimentary and attractive. And it's just such a nice fragrance if you like those richer, more lactonic, more creamier scents, but you can't wear it because it is literally like hot soup weather where you live. This is a great fragrance. It is really beautiful. Now, another semi-sour fragrance in my collection is Holy Water from La Vie del Profumo. This is a primarily orange blossom fragrance, but this orange blossom is very bitter, it's very sharp, and it's very sour. And that sounds like a negative. It is a positive, and that's why I love to wear this in the springtime. Why it's been one of the fragrances I've worn the most, because it's such a the sharpness and the sourness almost makes it fizzy as a beautiful, like zesty, uplifting orange blossom note. More masculine, less feminine. Orange blossom can go a variety of different ways, and I love every single way it can go. And I think this, if you're looking for that kind of fizzy, zesty, slightly sour floral fragrance, is definitely something to check out. And again, sour sounds like it might be a negative. It's actually, when blended and the composition is correct, it's a huge positive. Because in hot weather, those types of notes can be uplifting, or they can add a uniqueness to the composition. I just did a fragrance first impressions of probably about a week ago. I'm not sure if this video will go up before that video, just because of my upload history, but if it's before, if you see this video before I do that one, editing, I filmed it before this one. I'm just not sure which one I'm going to get up editing wise before. That fragrance I enjoyed. I think it's a horrible flanker to Angel, not because it's a bad fragrance, but because it doesn't smell anything like Angel, and it could have been a part of a different lineup. But as a fragrance itself, if you like fruity scents and floral fragrance, it's beautiful. But the raspberry in it, especially as I wore it on my skin longer, got a lot more sour, but that sourness was kind of like a sour candy. Like, it's kind of like something that's addictive. And in fragrances, when mixed correctly, sour notes can really add an uplifting, unique, it can add something to the experience that works really well in heat. It adds a unique twinge to your nose. It's not dull, it's not boring. It kind of makes you smell it more. It's kind of like you're more addicted to smelling it. Like, again, I'm not talking about a sour milk. I'm not talking about something that went rancid. I'm talking about like sour as a taste, as a smell. It's something that just when done correctly smells amazing, and in hotter, humid climates, and when paired with the right notes, it's amazing. So Salpernica was more of this kind of like slightly sour, like tonic fragrance, but because it had very distinct notes on the heart and the base, it worked together to create this really beautiful aromatic experience, especially if you like more creamy fragrances. That sourness kind of cuts through it like acidity. And with Holy Water, the sour orange blossom works to make it more zesty, more bright, almost more aldehydic in the opening, that kind of sparkly zestiness that's very addictive. But because it's paired with the orange blossom, kind of makes it more of a masculine orange blossom instead of a more feminine leaning, creamy, tropical orange blossom. And obviously when I'm talking about masculine and feminine, I'm talking about the types of fragrances that are generally marketed to men or women. This type of orange blossom would be marketed to women, and this type of orange blossom would be marketed to men. And there's that kind of sourness just kind of makes it a little bit more unisex, a little bit more fun to wear, a little bit more bright and uplifting. And for kind of hotter springtime fragrances, it's for springtime weather, there we go, for hotter springtime weather, it's been a great way to enjoy orange blossom where it doesn't smell too muddy. And so that's why I've really enjoyed it. Now another kind of, not orange blossom, but Neroli fragrance, and they're two different things, that I've been loving is from Precious Liquids, and it's Neroli Musk. This is kind of like the fragrance that I would wear every day. Just kind of, this has been a great morning scent. It's musky, it's really light on the skin. It's a beautiful, kind of rich, true Neroli note, and I've been enjoying it. And because I've talked way too much about other orange blossom and kind of soury scents, we're going to put that down and we're going to talk about more. Obviously this video is talking and sharing and me talking in circles. If you've ever had the pleasure or not the pleasure of talking to me in person, some of you guys know me, some of you guys don't. I have had the pleasure of meeting a few of you guys out in the wild. I am very socially awkward. I am not good in crowds or with people, but I talk in circles. I like just to talk and chat and just kind of bring you guys my thoughts on fragrance, and sometimes that's an endless circle of just babble, so I'm very sorry. But these next 5 fragrances have been my like dumb grabs. So what I mean by that is obviously everyone knows what a dumb grab fragrance is. These have been the ones that I've been wearing in the morning. These are the ones that I wake up, and the ones that I've been reaching for to wear before I take a shower, that just kind of get me ready to start the day. I love them, they smell good, and I just really been enjoying them. Obviously we have Light Blue from Dolce & Gabbana. I don't think I need to talk about this fragrance as being a gateway fragrance into my fragrance collection. I just love the way this smells. It's so beautiful. It changed fresh fragrances for women, in my opinion. This is a fragrance that really kind of changed the game when it came to aquatic, fresh, and citrus-based scents for women. I think it's just fantastic and I love it. And some of the flankers are all right. I'm not a huge fan of all the flankers. I do like Sun, but I actually like the masculine version of Sun more than the women's, although the women's is really nice. The masculine is so ozonic and it's so special, and I'm trying to track down a bottle of it because I actually really enjoy it. But that's just an easy fragrance to wear in the morning. And then another one is Peony and Peppercorn from Banana Republic. This is just a really nice scent, and I love peppercorn in fragrance, and the light florals in this are really pretty. A great fragrance to wear in the morning. And then Blue from Ralph Lauren. This is the newer re-released version. I've talked about how I don't have much experience with the original, but I do love this. This is a very complimented fragrance and just smells gorgeous. And then if I want something a little bit more aquatic, I love actually Ariel from Define Me. This actually is a fragrance they sent to me to review, and I enjoyed it so much, and I wear it a lot. And there's a lot of fragrances that are sent where I genuinely like it, but I don't crave wearing them. And for springtime, this one, I've enjoyed wearing. It's been fantastic, and it works so well if you want a unique aquatic fragrance, and it's been great to wear in the morning. I don't know why, I just liked wearing it in the morning, right? I just start my day. I like to smell like that. And the last dumb grabs, this was another one that was sent to me, but this was an experience that I shared with you guys, and it was from Olfactory, New York City, and it's a bespoke fragrance service, and I definitely recommend checking it out. It's what waft should be. And if you guys don't know my experiences with waft, I have videos on that, check them out. But I actually wanted to, they offered for me to provide a bottle, and I went through the whole bespoke situation or experience. There we go, I can say words, I really can't say words. I went through the whole bespoke experience and created a fragrance. Now you can buy this fragrance, I will link it below. I don't get a commission from that. They offered a commission, I declined it. In a lot of cases, guys, I decline affiliate codes and commissions. I try to keep that to 1 or 2 businesses. I don't like having every single link be an affiliate link. So they very generously offered me an affiliate code. I said no thank you, so the link below is not an affiliate code. But I wanted to do something tropical. I wanted to do something that was creamy, that was coconutty, that was like a vacation. And this just smells beautiful with tiare and coconut, and it's creamy. And I wear this a lot in the morning just because it smells so good. So I will link those videos below too if you want to check them out about Olfactory, New York City. But Kristin is one that I reach for a lot in the morning, especially if I'm going to be doing a lot of work outside. Like, I live on a wooded lot, I do a lot of yard work. I do go outside and, you know, cut down tree branches and, you know, mow the, I don't know, I pay someone to mow my lawn. My lawn is way too big for that. But, you know, like trimming hedges and landscaping and gardening and stuff like that. I'm outside for hours a day just doing that, and I enjoy it. But this has been a fragrance in the morning that I wear when I do that, just because it's tropical, and if I feel like I'm sweating outside, I can at least pretend I'm on vacation. It works really well. So that's been one I've been wearing a lot because of that. The last ones are ones that I have been craving to wear. So this first one is from Cosmogony. This is Moonlight. This is one I like to wear just because it smells pretty. There's a lightness and a brightness to this fragrance, but it's also like soft and floral and powdery, and I love powdery fragrances. So this has been an easy to wear powdery fragrance that works really well in the springtime months with that touch of floral and just brightness in there. I've really been enjoying this one. A la Rose, kind of like Bulgari Eau de Vert, is one of those fragrances that just I wear all the time. I'm either I probably would be more likely to be wearing Eau de Vert or A la Rose than any other fragrance, just because I love the way that it smells. This is such a beautiful, watery, bright, just very sparkly rose scent. I have so many different exceptional products that smell like this from Francis Kurkdjian, kind of like Baccarat Rouge. If there's a hand cream, if there's a hair mist, if there's a body oil, I don't know if there's body oil to this, I buy it and I love it and I use it. And A La Rose is just a beautiful, flirty, springtime floral rose scent, and I love this scent. It just smells so good. These last 3 are ones that I knew at least one of these I was going to be wearing a lot, and the other 2 just kind of came into my collection with the past few weeks that I've just been wearing nonstop. 10 Noir 29 was going to be a fragrance that I was going to wear a lot. This is from Le Labo, and this is so pretty. It just smells so good. I got this when I was in Dallas for Guerrilla Perfumes, and I wanted to get a few bottles, but I did want to get this fragrance just because I just was smelling this and wearing this when I was there. But this is one of those beautiful woody scents that has this gorgeous tea note, and it's just kind of like talking about fragrances to kind of go back to kind of, you know, so I don't talk in a circle for another 20 minutes. Like Bulgari Eau de Vert, like Salperniku, like Holy Water. There's a little something about this fragrance. Slightly sour, beautiful tea note, gorgeous woods and aromatics in here, and it just smells amazing on the skin. And for this like springtime where I want to smell fresh and slightly floral and aromatic, I've really been craving slightly sour scents. This has been one that I just really enjoy. And again, sour, not as a negative as a positive, but I know that that descriptor definitely sounds negative. This next one is Eau de Jasmine Rouge, and I love Jasmine Rouge, but this has been so much easier to wear and so beautiful this springtime. It's gorgeous. I love it. So I'm wearing this since I got it. I got it a few weeks ago, so I haven't been wearing it like since January, February, or March, but I've been wearing this like so much. I've worn this like at least 5 or 6 times since getting it, and that's saying something considering how many fragrances I have. But one that I've worn more than Eau de Jasmine Rouge that was newly sent to me is Aiguë from Nichene. This aquatic is so gorgeous, and I know I'm going to be wearing this throughout summer. This is going to be my most worn, probably my most worn. It's green and crisp and beautiful and bright and such a unique and such a wearable aquatic. And I feel like I've talked to you guys enough, so I don't want to talk for 45 minutes about this scent, but I love aquatic fragrances. I like green, crisp fragrances. I like fragrances that smell like a leaf that you just kind of, you know, mushed in your hand. And what is that green? You smell the polyphenols, you smell the greenness, you smell the coolness, the crispness. And that's what this fragrance smells like. And in summertime and springtime and fall, this is how I like to smell, but it's worked so well this spring, and it's just been something I've really enjoyed wearing. And I've tried layering this fragrance with other things, and I do enjoy layering, but this is one of the fragrances that I actually don't like layering, strangely enough, because I find that in this fragrance's balance, if I were to change anything, it throws off the balance and it's not as nice. So there's other amazing kind of aquatic, crisp, green scents that I can layer with other things that work really well, but there's something about this scent, it's not that it's unlayerable, it's just I prefer this fragrance unlayered. And there are some fragrances that I love to layer. I get excited to layer and blend. That one I don't like to. Strangely enough, I like it on its own. So those are the fragrances that I've been wearing this spring, kind of going into summer. I hope you enjoyed this chat. I know I've kind of talked in circles, and I think that you guys kind of get the point. Springtime fragrances for me are definitely transitionary summer scents or early summer scents. I like things that are bright and aromatic and woody and slightly floral. And currently, the past few months, I've liked that special kind of bitter sour note that a lot of fragrances have had. It's not that it's a new trend, it's just something that recently I've been craving, and they just work really well in the summer months and the springtime months. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you for sitting through this entire thing. If you sat through this entire thing, I'd love to know what fragrances you've been wearing this spring. What's been part of your rotation, and what fragrances are you excited to wear this summer? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.